My name is Eliza Hart, and I'm 29. If you had looked at my life 3 weeks ago, you probably would have thought, she's fine, she's stable, she's got it together. A tidy one-bedroom in Brooklyn with plants I mostly kept alive. A job in international finance that sounded impressive at parties. Every bill on autopay. A retirement account I actually contributed to. Even if it meant skipping weekend trips to Miami, my friends flaunted on Instagram. I built that life carefully, decision by decision. I was the practical one. The friend with jumper cables in the trunk and a backup charger in her bag. The person people called when their finances were a mess, needing someone to calmly sort through the numbers. What started as a compliment eventually felt like a label. Practical, predictable, forgettable. I thought I'd found someone who saw past that. Ethan Cole and I met at a friend's rooftop party in Williamsburg. He was standing by the bar, debating marketing metrics with someone who looked bored. He turned to me, rolled his eyes, and whispered, "If I say brand synergy one more time, please push me off this roof." I laughed, he smiled, and that was it. 2 years later, I knew his coffee order better than my own, and a toothbrush with his name sat in my bathroom. He worked in marketing at a tech startup. Charming, quick-witted, funny, handsome, the full package. 6 months ago, Ethan was promoted to senior account manager. It sounded perfect. More money, bigger projects, a fancier title. We celebrated with sushi and champagne he couldn't really afford but insisted on ordering. The complication came later. The role involved more travel, he said casually, plus leading a team. Caroline's on it. Caroline? I asked, rinsing dishes. He didn't look up. Caroline West. His ex. We dated years ago, long before you and I met. Not a thing now. I knew her name faintly from a story about my ex. Of course, his ex worked in his department. Of course, she ended up on his team. I felt a small, uninvited knot tighten in my chest. You're okay working together? I asked. Eliza, come on. We're adults. Strictly professional. You trust me, right? I said I trusted him because I did, or at least I wanted to. The first trips were manageable. 3 nights in Chicago, 4 in Denver. He texted from hotel bars, sent blurry photos of room service meals. We FaceTimed before bed. Caroline was a name, not a presence. Then the trips got longer. Austin, London. Texts became short. Sorry, exhausted talk tomorrow messages. FaceTime calls vanished, replaced by read receipts and occasional heart emojis. I told myself not to be that girlfriend who monitors every notification. I had spent years being low maintenance. Whenever my stomach tightened at Caroline's name, I smoothed it over with logic. They work together. He loves you. Trust is sexy. Insecurity is not. Meanwhile, my career was demanding more from me than expected. I managed portfolios for high net worth clients in international finance. I was on a slow but steady path. Then the Dubai offer appeared. Vice president, 40% salary increase, expat package, housing stipend, company car, a chance to build the Middle East division. Offers like this are rare. I forwarded the email to Ethan with excitement. He replied, "Wow, that's big. Congrats, babe." But Dubai. Then another message. He couldn't move. His career was taking off locally. I tried to discuss options. Transfers, remote work, long distance. He kissed my forehead. Eliza, you hate long distance. My promotion is here. Your career is thriving too. Why uproot for a flashy title in the desert? Flashy title. That phrasing stuck. I turned down the offer. Once, twice, 3 times. Each time my boss, Richard, asked if I was sure. Each time, I pictured Ethan rolling his eyes at brand synergy and looking at me like I was the only one in the room. By his Austin trip, something in our relationship felt off. I couldn't name it, but it was like smelling smoke before seeing a fire. On the first night, I heard Caroline's laughter faintly in the background. Team drinks, he said. I'd get a proper call tomorrow, but tomorrow never came. A few check-ins, a conference badge photo, then silence. When he returned, he was overly affectionate. Flowers, takeout, a new VP mug. I ignored the tightening in my chest and pretended everything was fine. 3 weeks ago, at our favorite Italian spot in the West Village, I tried to bring up Dubai again. He groaned, distracted by jet lag, or said, "Can we not talk about work?" That night, I decided to stop waiting for a perfect moment. "Hey," I said, twirling my fork, "I need to talk about something important." "If this is about socks on the couch, I plead exhaustion," he joked. "It's about Dubai." His fork clinked. "Eliza, I already told you I can't move." "I know," I said calmly. "I've respected that. I've turned it down 3 times. but it's a 40% raise, a VP title, career changing. We can't ignore it forever. He leaned back, arms crossed. Not everything is about money and titles. It sounded like ambition was something I should feel guilty about. I'm not saying that, I said. I'm suggesting we explore options. Transfers, long distance for a year. Maybe a compromise. You get everything you want. I just figure it out. Do you hear how that sounds? He said sharply. I set down my fork. I'm asking for compromise. I've supported you, rearranged my life around your schedule, turned down my own opportunities to stay in the city. All I want is for us to find a solution that works for both of us. He stared, then shrugged. Okay, since we're being honest. Next month, 2 weeks in Seattle. Huge client. Caroline's going. Non-negotiable. This is my career. I need a partner secure enough to handle that. The restaurant noise blurred. My heart thudded. I've never said you couldn't go, I said. You didn't have to, he shot back. The way you talk about it, the way you go quiet when I mention her, I feel it. If you can't handle me traveling with my ex, maybe we're not compatible. I need someone who trusts me. There it was, the line. For a second, I wanted to argue, list every late-night silence, every half answer, every time he made me feel crazy. Trust isn't a blank check for someone who keeps forgetting to cash it honestly. But instead, something else happened. Everything went completely still. I looked at him, really looked. The man I had been planning a future with. The man who could turn my concerns into flaws faster than I could finish a sentence. The man who had just told me gently that his ex-girlfriend and career were non-negotiable, while my dreams were negotiable if they got in his way. And suddenly, I wasn't angry. I was done. A small, genuine smile appeared on my face. You're right, I said quietly. If we're not compatible, we're not compatible. He blinked. You're right, I repeated, picking up my fork. My hands had stopped shaking. Thank you for being honest. Ethan stared as if I had started speaking another language. Eliza, that's not. I twirled a bite of risotto onto my fork. It tasted like nothing and everything at once. The rest of dinner was uncomfortable. He tried to reframe his words, soften them, backpedal without fully taking them back. I didn't mean you're the problem, he said. I just meant we need to be realistic about what we can handle. Totally, I replied. We should always be realistic. We walked back to my apartment in near silence. At my door, he leaned in for a kiss. I turned my head, so his lips brushed my cheek. He frowned. We're okay, right? I looked up at him, reading the assumption in his eyes. We're honest, that's a start. I went upstairs alone. The next morning, my alarm rang at 6:45. For once, I didn't hit snooze. I lay there a minute, staring at the ceiling, hearing Ethan's words. If you can't handle me traveling with my ex, maybe we're not compatible. Okay, I thought. Then we're not. At 7:02 a.m., I called Richard. He answered immediately, cheerful for the hour. Eliza, to what do I owe this honor? Don't tell me you're changing your mind about Dubai again. I took a breath, letting a weight lift from my chest. I'm not turning it down. If the offer's still available, I'm in. A beat of stunned silence, then laughter. Are you serious? I'm serious. Good, he said, smiling through the phone. Welcome to the VP Club. We'll need you in Dubai in about 2 weeks. HR will send the updated package today. When I hung up, my hands shook, not from fear, but from the dizzying realization that I had chosen myself over someone unwilling to meet me halfway. Outside, Brooklyn looked the same. Brick buildings, gray sky, traffic hum, but my life felt completely different. I didn't tell Ethan yet. For days, I moved through my life like I was rehearsing a role I wouldn't play much longer. I went to work, smiled in meetings, pretended the word Dubai didn't glow in my inbox with every HR email. Between spreadsheets and calls, I filled out visa forms, sent documents, and Googled neighborhoods with marina views at 2 a.m. At home, I started with the easy things: winter coats I wouldn't need, books I loved but rarely touched, unused kitchen gadgets. I ordered moving boxes, told my landlord I'd break the lease, and scheduled a call with the company's relocation specialist. Ethan texted memes and blurry office photos. I replied, but my messages were short, not cruel, just measured. He didn't seem to notice. One night, my older sister, Natalie, FaceTimed me. Artist, messy bun, paint on her hands, chaos personified. Okay, what's going on, she said. I blinked. Hi to you, too. She tilted the phone, showing canvases leaning against every wall. Eliza, you've used more exclamation points this week than in 5 years, and you keep saying big changes with a skull emoji. Start talking. I hesitated, then exhaled. I took the Dubai job. Her eyes widened. You what? Oh my God, are you serious? Very, I said. Richard called. It's official. 2 weeks. She shrieked, then clapped a paint-streaked hand over her mouth. Sorry, okay, this is huge. I'm so proud. How did Ethan take it? I looked at the half-packed box on the floor. He doesn't know yet. Her smile faded. Why not? Last time I brought it up, he basically said his work trips with his ex were non-negotiable. If I couldn't handle it, we weren't compatible. Then he implied I was greedy and unsupportive for even considering it. Natalie's jaw clenched. He said that? More or less, I said, so I believed him. She watched me for a moment. Eliza, what are you going to do? I looked at the tape dispenser. I'm going to pack, move to Dubai, and stop pretending I'm okay being the only one compromising. Her voice wobbled. Are you breaking up with him? I don't know if I'm breaking up, I said. I just know I'm not staying. Natalie nodded. I love you. I'm on your side. Don't let him talk you out of what you already know is right. You do that, I said softly. You rewrite reality to make people easier to love. I know. After we hung up, I sat on the floor among boxes, my phone buzzing with HR emails, flight options, housing suggestions, onboarding documents. Ethan sent a selfie from a team happy hour. Caroline blurred in the background. Wish you were here, he wrote, winky face. For the first time, I didn't feel jealous. I felt tired. 10 days after that dinner, he showed up at my apartment. Gray, damp Saturday. I was in leggings, old sweatshirt, hair piled on my head, sitting among half-filled boxes. A knock. I peeked through the peephole, him. My heart flipped quietly. Hey, he said, leaning for a kiss. I turned, brushing my cheek. Hey. He stepped inside and froze. Whoa. He looked around at towers of cardboard, stripped bookshelves, labeled boxes. What? What are all these boxes? I said literally. He shot a look. I can see that. Redecking? Storage? I picked up tape. I'm moving. He laughed nervously. Yeah, I got that. Moving where? Dubai. The word hung between us like glass. His smile froze. What? I sealed the box. I accepted the VP position. I leave in 4 days. His face shifted. Confusion, disbelief, anger, hurt, indignation. You accepted, Eliza. We were going to talk about that. We did at the restaurant, I said quietly. You said your trips with Caroline were non-negotiable. If I couldn't handle it, we weren't compatible. I made a decision that doesn't require you to compromise. That's not what I meant. You're just upending everything over one argument, over a promotion. It's not one argument, I said. It's months of you making me feel crazy for having basic boundaries. You prioritized your career and ex over a real conversation about our future. I turned down opportunities thinking we were building something together, and you acted like I was selfish for wanting the same things you do. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. You should have told me you were considering it. We could have. I did, I cut in. You shut it down. You made it clear where I fit on your priorities. He stopped pacing. So what? You're ending things because I said something stupid? You didn't say something stupid, I replied. You said something true. You showed me who you are when your plans are threatened. I'm just listening. He stared. Eliza, I love you. 2 years together. You can't just pack and disappear over my job. I laughed bitterly inside. This isn't about your job. It's about trust. His mouth opened, ready to give the same speech about jealousy and exes. I held up a hand. Actually, I said, voice shaking, since we're being honest, I have one question. No lies. He swallowed. Okay. The Austin trip, I said. Did you sleep with Caroline? Silence fell. Not surprise, not offense. Just quiet, like everyone already knew. Ethan looked away first. Eliza, he started. Yes or no? Did you sleep with her? His shoulders slumped, eyes wet. Once, drunk. It just happened. Didn't mean anything. Felt sick afterward. I was going to tell you. I didn't want to lose you. Stop, I said. Just stop. Let's not. Stop, I repeated louder this time. Do you hear yourself? You slept with your ex on a work trip. You came home, brought me flowers, bought me a VP mug as a joke, and then spent months making me feel unreasonable for even asking about her. And now you expect points because you felt sick and thought about telling me? His face crumpled. I made a mistake. A huge, stupid mistake. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you just... This isn't a mistake, I said quietly. A mistake is forgetting a birthday or losing your keys. You made a series of choices. You chose to sleep with her. You chose to hide it. You chose to gaslight me every time I got close to the truth. Tears blurred my vision, but my voice stayed steady. You chose you, I said over and over. I'm just choosing me back. He stepped closer, reaching for my hand. I stepped back. Please, he said, voice cracking. Don't do this. I'll quit. I'll ask to be removed from her accounts. I'll move to Dubai with you. Anything. Just don't walk away over one night I wish I could take back. You're not hearing me, I said. There is no us if I can't trust you. There's no future where I pretend this didn't happen and go back to being the chill girlfriend who smiles while you fall into bed with your ex on business trips. He flinched. Eliza, I'm not asking you to fight for me, he said. I'm asking you to leave my apartment. The words hurt coming out. They felt like pulling a splinter that had been under my skin for months. For a second, I thought he might refuse, the stubborn part of him believing he could talk me into staying as he had with Dubai. Then something broke in his expression. Shoulders sagged. He looked at the boxes again, like seeing them for the first time. Not a bluff, not a threat, just a decision made without him. Okay, he whispered. He walked to the door slowly. For what it's worth, he said, rough voice, I really do love you. I swallowed. For what it's worth, I replied, I believe you. I just love myself more than I love your apologies. He flinched, opened the door, and stepped into the hallway. I closed it, slid the deadbolt. For a long moment, I stood with my forehead against the cool wood, listening to his footsteps fade. My phone buzzed endlessly on the coffee table, his name flashing over and over. I wiped my eyes, walked past it, and picked up the tape gun. Boxes still needed packing. The next 3 days were chaos. Not dramatic, no shouting, no broken glass. Just relentless. Movers calling, HR emailing hourly, landlord reminding me about lease fees, my sister sending hourly check-ins disguised as memes, relocation specialists scheduling a dozen appointments, and Ethan calling 47 times. I counted. He texted paragraphs, apologies, confessions, promises, screenshots of a quit letter he hadn't sent. I ignored most. The few I read repeated the same thing. I'm sorry. I'll change. I can't lose you. It meant nothing. I love you. Please. My friends split into 2 camps. Camp 1, hear him out. Natalie, Lucas, a few mutual friends. Closure is healthy. People can grow. Camp 2, Blum. Mia, my mentor cousin Elise. Cheaters don't change. You already know everything. Both sides had a point. The truth was simpler. I wasn't angry. I wasn't vindictive. I was done. Months of twisting myself to understand his moods, silences, shifting boundaries, and blame dissolved. My gut, silenced for months, was finally quiet. When my phone buzzed for the 8th time before noon on the morning of my flight, I didn't flinch. I turned it face down, zipped the last suitcase, and called my ride to JFK. At the terminal, I sat in the Emirates lounge watching planes taxi. My phone buzzed again, unknown number. I almost ignored it. Then a gut feeling made me swipe. Eliza, his voice thin, shaky. It's me. I closed my eyes. Ethan, how did you get this number? I'm at JFK. I saw your Instagram story. I rushed out, suitcase, coffee, boarding pass, and Mia let it slip your flight's at 3. Please, just 5 minutes. I looked out at the A380 at the gate, sunlight glinting off its wings. What do you want to say? A shaky inhale. Everything. What I should have said months ago. I'm sorry. I was selfish and scared. I'll quit my job. Cut Caroline out. Therapy. Anything. Anything if you give me another chance. I swallowed. No, wait. Just listen. I can't lose you, Eliza. I know I don't deserve you, and you're probably right, but You're right, I said softly. You don't deserve me. Not the version who shrinks herself, swallows instincts, pretends trust can be forced. You deserve someone who can live with how you make them feel. He whispered, I could, but I won't. Not anymore. Long, painful silence. Caroline and I, he said brokenly, it was one stupid night. I was drunk and lonely. This isn't about one night, I said. It's every moment after. Every time you minimized my discomfort, every time you framed fear as insecurity, every time you turned instincts into evidence of flaws. He didn't respond. Ethan, I said gently, I'm boarding soon. His breath hitched. Is this it? You're really leaving me? I looked at the A380 again. Yes, I am. Another silence, softer, resigned. I hope Dubai gives you everything you want, he whispered. It already has, I replied. I hung up, blocked his number, backup number, work email, then Instagram. The world didn't collapse. It quieted. I finished my whiskey, warm and smooth, and took a photo of my plane framed against the runway. Caption, new chapter, VP life in Dubai, no tags needed. 2 weeks later, first update, Dubai, heat, glass, light. My apartment overlooked the marina, sleek towers, yachts drifting, company car in the garage. Onboarding full, jet lag brutal, and I loved it. Work intense, high stakes, fast paced, the challenge I hadn't realized I craved. 2 weeks in, Mia called. Ethan's not doing well. I leaned back. I'm not responsible for his choices anymore. How's Caroline? I asked. Fine, she said. Dating someone else over a year. Austin meant nothing to her. Exhaling slowly, I realized the real heartbreak was his. He'd destroyed a 2-year relationship over one drunken night with someone who didn't even want him. He lost everything, not for love, but ego. I didn't feel triumphant or vindicated. I felt sad, not for him, but for the version of me that erased herself to believe in him. But sadness isn't regret, not even close. 3 weeks in, I'd gone on 3 casual dates: French architect, Lebanese consultant, American teacher. Nothing serious, just remembering what it feels like to be seen without being diminished. At work, Richard pulled me aside. You're exceeding expectations. Keep this up, and you may lead the entire Middle East division within 18 months. In New York, I'd still be politely waiting my turn. Last night, I stood on my balcony, water rippling under city lights. For the first time in years, I wasn't planning life around someone else's boundaries. My world felt bigger, not smaller. I thought briefly about Ethan, his last message before I blocked him. I hope it was worth it. I smiled, feeling the warm evening breeze. It was worth it. Not for the money, title, view, prestige, or adventure, but because I finally chose myself. I listened to the voice I'd silenced for years. I finally believed the truth he kept showing me. Once you learn to choose yourself, there's no going back.